he was involved in a drug bust in Miami. And he said at the time it was the biggest drug bust in the history of Miami. Pretty crazy and not expected from Ben Higgins, all before he was the Bachelor. So,
but of course we have to talk about your new podcast. Just tell me about it first and what people can expect.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So yesterday was the launch of True Crime Reality, which meshes two of my favorite things. I love true crime podcasts specifically. I don't really like to watch the documentaries or anything. And I love reality TV. So meshing the two, and there are so many people that have been affected by crime, like funny crime, serious crime, in reality TV especially. So I thought it'd be a good way to mix the two.
Yeah, how did you come up with this idea? Because it's super original, and I think there's obviously so many podcasts out there about reality TV, and there's so many podcasts about true crime. But when did you make that connection that there was going to be like enough meat there to kind of explore it?
The idea was brought to me just through conversation, like talking about the podcasts that I love, the things that I love. And it's like, well, why don't we mesh these two together? So I felt like it was perfect for me. And there are so many podcasts out there, but thankfully there's not this one yet.
No, and I know your first guest was Ben Higgins, who obviously Bachelor Nation loves. Tell me a little bit about his episode, and if people haven't listened yet, what they would get from Ben's episode.
Yeah, so I was really excited. Ben was my very first person that I interviewed, so I was super nervous. And he just like has a way of just making you feel calm, and he's so good at speaking and storytelling. But he was involved in a drug bust in Miami, and he said at the time it was the biggest drug bust in the history of Miami. I don't know if it still is, but it was crazy. He was 16, cocaine washed up on the shore. He discovered it, and it turned out to be like this whole thing. The FBI was involved, I think like the CIA, all these federal agents were involved. Pretty crazy and not expected from Ben Higgins, all before he was the Bachelor. So it was a pretty fun story.
That is so crazy. And how are you going about finding guests and kind of finding people to talk to? And do you have any like people you already know you want to seek out because you've heard things, or are you just kind of walking around parties and going, hey, have you ever had cocaine washed up on the beach?
Yeah, honestly, the latter. And what I've realized, like, it's so niche, and I am worried about running out of stories, but everyone has a story. I've realized, like, talking to people about the podcast launch, they're like, oh, like I had a break-in, and people are just like sharing all these crazy stories. Like someone was murdered in my building, and so I think it's just people don't recognize like, oh, like I could go on the podcast, like this happened to me, because it's not something you think about every day. So I think it's just about having conversations, getting the podcast out there. I am worried about running out of people, but I know like everyone has a story.
Right as you started to say that, I was like, well, I've had a break-in, and I'm from Westfield, which I'm not sure if you haven't, seen that yet. I lived down the street from that house. So it's like everyone does have something going on. You're right.
Yes.
For you, why was right now the right time for you to dive into podcasting? Obviously, Dean's been podcasting forever. There's a lot of Bachelor people in podcast reality TV. Why now did you want to kind of start podcasting? And I mean, I feel like I've read some of your reviews and people are like, she's the best interviewer. Her voice is so calming. Like people are loving it.
Thank you. I refuse to read them because I'm like,
that's smart.
I listened to 10 minutes of it and I said something that was incorrect. And Dean was like, this is going to be so good for you because you're so hard on yourself and you're so like adamant to be perfect, which no one is. He's like, so you need to just like let go. I was like, I forgot the question. Timing of the podcast. I just think I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I love utilizing my degree. I studied broadcast journalism. So anytime I can actually use what I paid so much money for is awesome. But I wanted something that was different. I didn't want to talk about The Bachelor. I didn't want to talk about dating, which my fiance does. So I just wanted to find the right thing. And I think this is the perfect thing for me.
100%. What guests do you have planned that you can tease for people to be looking out for?
I know we have someone from Survivor. And then once I started to think like, it's not just The Bachelor or Housewives, like there are so many shows. And with Survivor, especially, there are so many cops and firefighters. So I feel like there's a lot of stories in Survivor and The Amazing Race.
Oh, that's going to be good. Those are like, they've been through stuff even on the beach too. Like it's like a different vibe over there. They're tough people. Well, congratulations on your engagement, obviously. Can you tell me like when you and Dean knew when did you know that this was going to happen? I know people have been asking you since you guys left that beach, and there's been so much talk about his past comments, your past comments, and everyone always has things to say about you guys. When did you know we were going to get engaged and like stop worrying about the noise?
Oh gosh. I keep thinking about this, like when I knew he was the one, when I knew we were going to get engaged. I think we just like kept talking about it and I kept joking about it. And I think the more I joked about it, the more he was like, okay, like maybe I could get married. I don't know if that's what happened in his mind, but that to me is when it switched, just like easing the thoughts into him. But then we were like, okay, like we actually could get engaged. We could get married. And this is something we want. So I don't know if that was like a year ago. I have no idea the time frame, but we've been talking about it for a while, about both proposing to each other and getting engaged. So I didn't really feel like I was going to feel much different once we were engaged, but a friend told me, she's like, enjoy every moment, like enjoy the engagement, enjoy the wedding. Don't rush anything. So thankfully I listened to her because I was like, I want to try on dresses. I want to like do all these things before I'm even engaged, which is ridiculous. So thankfully I listened.
A lot of girls feel that though when they're in a long-term relationship. They just get excited. Clothes are fun.
So excited. And I was, but I waited. And so that has made it super exciting too. Like we're in this really fun fiance phase. And also like we're getting to look at venues. We're getting to decide where we want to get married. So it's been fun.
Did he really lose the ring?
Yeah, it gives me so much anxiety.
So like, what ring do you have on now?
He got me, it's whenever my fingers get cold, it falls off. So I have to like, switch it to my middle finger. But he got me a little placeholder and he doesn't want me to show anyone.
Okay.
But he got me a placeholder. I do have a ring on my finger and it's somewhere in this house. I have no idea. He flies home tonight and we're home for 2 days. I'm like, where is it? Like it's giving
its own true crime mystery. Where is your engagement ring?
Where is it?
Could this be some sort of Dean like conspiracy that he just wants to propose again in the house? Or do you think he definitely lost it?
No, he lost it. For sure. We spent hours like scanning the video, our security cameras. We're like, when did he pull it out of the drawer? We cannot figure it out.
Oh my God. Well, I would imagine Dean would plan one hell of a honeymoon. But does he have opinions about wedding stuff? Has he kind of started to sprinkle in, or is he going to let you take the reins on that?
Yeah, I was like, what if we get married in Banff? What if we originally thought we'd elope in Italy after that trip when I saw you? And then we were like, we actually do want all of our friends there. So we're going to get married in Aspen. But then I was like, maybe Banff, maybe here. And he was like, I have my mind made up. And when his mind is made up, you like can't talk to him. And I was like, you don't understand that like the wedding process is about a lot of decisions and changing things. So do I just like not involve you? And he was like, I don't know. So we'll see.
God. That's fun. Aspen, though. I mean, again, you guys are super outdoorsy, super always everywhere. What has been the place that you've traveled to that comes to mind as like the most special? Is it Italy?
It's Italy. Yeah. Last summer, we drove from the north, I think the north side of Italy, all the way to south to, gosh, I can't remember now. But yeah, we did the whole country and we fell in love with it. So I don't know if we would honeymoon there or if he would want to do like New Zealand or something. He would want to do something crazy. Like the way he proposed to me is even crazy. It was 22 miles. I'm not a hiker. I'm not in hiking shape, but we'll see.
Was it 22 miles like straight, or was it 11 one way and then like you got engaged and had to walk 11 back?
Yeah, 11. Yeah, 22 total.
Did you not want to walk the 11 back? Like I'd be like, did you plan like a helicopter for this part? Can we bachelor it up? Get off this beach?
Okay, so my first hike I did with him was, I think it was 20 miles, like round trip, and I helicoptered out. And I was like, you know what? His brother actually did this a couple years ago and he got boated out by pirates. And he's like, just so you know, like you can get boated out by pirates. It's awesome. So the whole time I'm like complaining on the way in. I'm like, at least I don't have to do it on the way back. And I cried at one point because it was so scary and you could die.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's fine. The pirates will pick me up or I'll get a helicopter. And then we talked to this guy who's lived on the beach. He's like actually lived there for 30 years or something. And he was like, you can get a helicopter. You have to fake an injury. They take you to the hospital. You have to get in an ambulance and it's $1,000. And I was like, there's no chance I'm spending that much money. So I hiked back.
Oh my God. Well, did you feel like euphoric? Were you like on a high? Did it go faster? Or were you just like, being like, this is just so symbolic of you making me work for this?
Yes, exactly. No, it was so much easier on the way back. I think it was just very mental, the scariness of the hike, but I was like, I did it, just power through. Sushi is so close, like you can do it. And a shower, gosh.
Yes. I mean, you guys have lived such an adventurous life together, and I know that's probably part of what you love about each other. Are you spending time in the van still? Are we permanently in a house? What's going on there?
Yeah, we are spending time in the van. It's been, because he was in Pakistan for a while, it's been in Montana. So we are going to Montana for Thanksgiving. We're sleeping in the van for Thanksgiving, which will be great. And we're still in the van. It's just, we've been traveling so much. So hopefully this winter, I think he's planning on doing a bunch of ski trips and we'll just sleep in the van.
And then you can go to Aspen and look at wedding venues.
Exactly, yes.
Perfect. Do you know if you're going to want like several looks, dresses? Like, have you started looking at any of that stuff yet? Or are you still kind of just living in the high?
Yeah, no, I'm obsessed with clothing. So I already bought one dress just for like an engagement party.
Okay, love it.
And I've got appointments scheduled. Yeah, I would like 2 dresses.
Okay, maybe a reception and a ceremony situation or an after party. I have to ask about the truck because this got a lot of attention that Dean made this comment. I'll propose to Caelynn if she buys me a truck. Then you posted that cute little Instagram story. I'm at the dealership. Did he get the truck? How's the truck doing?
Oh my gosh, this truck is insane. So it all started because I wanted to buy my engagement ring because I just like, I'm going to be the one wearing it. I'm the one who wants it. I want to buy it. And he didn't like that. So he's like, what if you bought me this truck instead? So I was like, that's the perfect compromise. And people then took it as he's only proposing if I buy him a truck, which is insane.
Right.
It was my idea, but I did. I bought him a truck. I like bought part of it. I put a little bit of money down and then he bought the rest. But yes, he has a truck. He loves it. And actually he's been working on our backyard and it's almost finished, thankfully, like because of the truck.
When people do like talk about these things and, you know, Dean seems to have it all pretty much roll off his back. He pokes fun at a lot of stuff and he does do a podcast and is doing it for a long time. So a lot of stuff gets said and taken out and all that. Does it bother you at all anymore? Are you guys at the point where you really can just like laugh and you know your truth? Or does every once in a while, are you like, what is happening?
I just get annoyed sometimes and I like try not to let it, but I'm like, that's insane. What annoys me is when people just like make up their own truths about things and they like make up their own truths about our relationship. But at the end of the day, I'm like, we're the happiest we've ever been and it doesn't matter. It's just annoying. I'm like, but you guys don't even know, like, this is what the reality is.
Yeah, it's true. I can only imagine. And I know it's an interesting balance, but that was one that I was like, there's definitely something more to this, but like that quote is kind of wild. Like I buy you a Rick Trucks exchange. Speaking, one more question about the ring. Have you seen a picture at least? Like, do you know what you're looking for?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was in a drawer for the longest time and I would like sneak downstairs and try it on every once in a while.
Oh, really? So you tried it on?
Yeah. I have photos of it like on my hand and.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know where it could be.
Do you love it at least?
Oh, I love it. It's perfect. It's actually only a stone. So it's just a loose stone flying around somewhere. So I would just like rest it on the back of my hand.
Oh my God. You guys need to find this. Wow.
I know.
I also wanted to ask, because I've never had a chance to talk to you about this, but before Clayton season started, you knew Susie and Dean obviously knew Gabby. So what was it like to watch that wild thing unfold?
You know, we didn't actually watch it. We don't really watch The Bachelor, Bachelorette, but we do watch Paradise just because it's like, we're like, this is where he broke up with me. This is where we fell in love, like all that stuff. So we didn't watch, unfortunately. It would have been great to root Susie on, but we have been watching Paradise and it's been really fun.
Do you like it? Are you enjoying it? I feel like this season, some people are like kind of a little over it, but other people are all in.
No, I love it. I think Genevieve and Aaron are so cute.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Because they kind of remind me of us a little bit where people are like, I don't know if that's going to work. I think that's why I like them.
Oh, okay. So besides those two, is there any other couple that you're, not that you're rooting against anyone, but that you're super like drawn to or like enjoying watching?
Brandon and Serena, they're so easy. There's no drama, which it's like, how can you build a show based off that? But they're fun to watch. Yes,
very fair. And I think everyone collectively is like, that wedding has to happen, or what are we going to do? How do you guys think you would have fared if Dean did last on the beach longer and you had to do that twist, like that like switching up?
I would have lost my mind. And I like knowing how Dean was on the beach and he was like saying no to dates and stuff when we were there, he would have been loyal, but I just didn't have that trust in him yet. So I would have been a wreck and probably like would have done what Lace did and came down.
Yeah.
It would have been terrible.
So do you think the women were justified with maybe some of those breakdowns?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is such a horrible thing to do. And I know that they do that on Love Island, but they're I don't know.
Love Island, I think, they're more expecting to kind of, it's part of the game. It is a game a little bit more on Love Island versus this show.
Because you're winning money, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go because I know you have more to do, but if there's anything else you want to let me know about your podcast, we'll give you a chance to circle it back.
Yeah, you can follow at True Crime Reality on Instagram, get it wherever you get your podcasts, and there are going to be a lot of fun, exciting guests, so don't forget to subscribe.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the podcast. Congratulations on your engagement. I love talking to you, and hopefully it won't be too long before I talk to you again.
Yes, great to see you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.